What's up guys, it's UT here, and today we got a 2019 GT350 behind me, and then we're going to be installing a stereo in Dom's car. So we're like the first to do the build, and so far we've got these holes in the grommet. So right over there, we took the battery out and drilled some holes, and it went through the firewall, and it came out really clean. We used the installation kit grommets, and when you look inside of here, you can see access. You can see access to it right there. There's two holes, and you just run the power wire for both amps through there, and you can run it through the side all along that and to the back of the trunk where the amps will be. So I'll show you what they look like right now. All right guys, so we ran the wire from the engine bay into the passenger footwell, and I just had UT pull them through underneath. And these are both of our power wires, sub power wire, and then amplifier power wire for the door speakers. I'm under the driver's side, and I found that the factory Bang & Olufsen amplifier is right there, and it goes all the way to the head unit. We first thought we'd have to take the head unit apart, but thankfully we don't. This is the DSR1, and with the plug and play kit, it literally just goes right in there. So we're gonna test it out when we have the amplifiers installed, but right now it's just gonna sit here. But I think we're gonna mount it somewhere around the amplifier. Dom's trying to test fit the tweeter right there, but we figured out that it might not fit easily. This is a common issue. So we'll see what happens. So far we're working on getting the door off. There's 2 bolts on the bottom, two I believe 7mm, and then 2 10s in here. You're gonna have to pull off a panel behind this. It's just there's gonna be a little hole up top you can use a pick for, and then there's a panel you pop off with your trim removal piece, and you just unplug the window switch. There's another 10mm that's hidden down here. All right, so we're running to the hardest part of this project. It's getting the mids to fit. We cut a lot around the inside of the door with the Dremel and metal pliers.
It's a 3-inch speaker. We're putting in a 3.25-inch mid.
So yeah, there's a lot of modifying, and these MD quartz have the signature of being the hardest speakers to put in. I did them in my dash. I'll show what they look like in mine, but they're very tough to install. So we're testing the fitment of the door panel now.
So UT's taking the door off, but we just got the door to fit on with the 3.25-inch speaker, which is pretty insane. We taped it on just to see the fitment of it with the door. So right when he takes it off, we'll see. I don't know how the hell we got this on, but with a little bit of cutting and God's will, we were able to get it on. So pretty happy about that. We're gonna work on the door, get the wires through the grommet, and then we'll probably route the crossover somewhere underneath here in the footwell.
So in our situation, the tweeters are 1-inch tweeters, and the factory ones are like 7.5. All you have to do is pry this piece out, and usually what we do is we Dremel it out so that it's so tight that you're able to just press the tweeters in. There, he got that out. Now he's gonna Dremel out this little piece right here, so it's just a perfect circle, and then we shove the tweeter in, and it sits in super tight and will never come out.
Like the one over there.
Yep. All right, so he's gonna try to push it in now. If it doesn't, we're gonna Dremel out more, but it looks
the opposite direction.
Yeah, we're trying to match it to the other side. Should be able to just jerk it in with his hand. If it doesn't go in, we're gonna Dremel it out more. Yeah, I'd probably.
I think it needs a little bit more.
Yeah, let me see. So I made a stencil on this side, and we're just gonna flip it over and do the same. We're gonna trace this out on the other side and cut it out, so we don't have to keep guessing, and it should fit perfectly just like this side. And the awesome thing is, when we put that grill back on, you can see the speaker right through it, and it's centered almost perfectly. So far so good. And we have duplicated the tweeters on both sides, and we're about to put the left side, we're about to start cutting the left side and mounting the crossovers and figure out where those are gonna go. we were almost done. I routed all the wires to the back with Dom, and I'm doing the crossovers right now. He got the speakers out and we're putting the new ones in. We basically had to angle grind the last screw out because you can't get a socket in there easily to the back screw. So we're just gonna use 2 of them. There's 3 and it will be secure enough. But that's a new speaker. It looks much better, bigger magnet, and I'm doing the crossovers right now. It's gonna look way neater after I'm done. I'm cutting all the wires down and putting them in the crossover, and we'll stack them and Velcro them right there. The amplifiers are still going there, but all the wires are there. All right, Dom's putting the rear speakers in, as you can see. He's putting a bolt and a nut on the back, a nut and bolt on the back. Screw we can't reach, and they look super good. We use the Metra mounts, and now they don't rattle at all. So we're gonna put insulation on the rear deck. We're gonna do them on the doors another time, but this project is coming along. All right, so we're putting this beefy EVL 12 in the sub box. We're wiring it from dual voice coil 2 ohm to 1 ohm, and it's gonna go in there. And we're just gonna try to test it today. We're not wrapping the carpet since someone ordered it to the wrong place, but we'll be fine. So there are the rear deck speakers, and I put insulation in the areas where it resonates the most. I can't give you a demo before, but it sounds much better. It was very tinny, now it's very solid. And the rear speakers look great. They're 100 watts RMS opposed to the factory, which was 25 watts. So we should hear a big difference. So I finished putting the insulation in the trunk. Looks really good. Sounds rock solid. Overkill, but we're also trying to do a custom amp rack right there.
Okay, so guys, we were having a big issue where the amps weren't turning on and the power wire was flickering. It's about midnight. We've been working on this the whole day. The issue was we originally mounted the 2 power wires to this area right here, and it's a terrible area for power. We ended up just kind of wedging a wire in between here and testing it, and the amps worked perfectly fine then. So we decided that we'd have to kind of make our own hole in the metal part to get a better surface contact area for the power wire. And we just pre-drilled our own hole with a self-tapping screw. You could do it with also a drill bit. And then put a washer on top in between the screw, and then the 2 power wires are below, making contact with the battery terminal now. And UT and I have been going at it, and it's just been a horrible time, but looks like we're kind of in the end game now.
Yeah. So also, if you're wondering where to ground your amps, we thought our ground was bad until we saw the factory ground. It was right here, right there, and ours is grounded right there, and it's super secure, won't budge. And the second one is grounded right there. We originally grounded both there, thinking it was the ground was bad, but it never was. It was the power wire, as Dominic said. And then right here, I put in all the power wires, and it works perfectly fine. So yeah. So I peel back the factory water barrier right there. It's simply just you pull it, and luckily the adhesive stays to the plastic. Oh, that did not. Sometimes it stays to the plastic part, but you got to be very careful when you're doing it. I don't think this piece is, because the other, oh yeah, no, it does that. It stays like that. If it starts to come off with it, pull it from the other side so you don't mess up, but it's meant to stay on this. If it doesn't, it's fine. You could just apply it properly later, but you should try not to damage the factory glue, otherwise you'll have to reapply it. But we're gonna put the insulation inside of here, and that should be helping with the vibrations. And yeah, Dom's applying back the water barrier. We put insulation on the doors, try to match them. That door looks a little different because I peeled it by hand, but it's gonna be the same effect, as it's pretty similar. We put in the same areas, but there's some inside the door and there's some there, and we just tested it by knocking on it, and it doesn't vibrate anywhere as much as it did before. So the insulation is doing its job. To reapply the barrier, all you have to do is press down firmly and line it up with the factory spot. It doesn't have to be exact, but you just want it to do full coverage, as you don't want any water touching the back of the door panel. That's basically it. And we're gonna put the doors together, and we're gonna wire the stereo up, tune it with a SMD distortion detector, time alignment, equalizer, and we're gonna hear
how good the speaker sounds.
Hey guys, UT checking in. So we're shipping the DSR one back because it just doesn't work. Yeah, we've been going at this for 4 days and this DSR one doesn't work. We bought it used, so we sent it back. We wrapped it up very neatly as it's Christmas and we want the holiday spirit to continue. So yeah, it doesn't work. So we're gonna buy another one and try that. Okay, so far we're putting this thing back on, the amp rack back on, and we are routing the wires through and organizing them. And we're zip tying the DSR1 module right here. Trying to get it to mount. It's very tough to make it look nice, but there's the bass knob. And then everything else is back on. And we're basically gonna put it all back together and hear the sub and the sound system. Guys, we're so close to being finished now. So there's the DSR1. I'm about to zip tie it, or trying to. It's really tough. And Dom's over there doing the amp rack. And you can see all the insulation right there. We put in the doors. Everything's back on, other than this panel and that panel. But we've heard it and it sounds phenomenal, especially for the price point, and all the tuning we've done has benefited us. But I think Dom is pretty happy with the system, but we're just about to finish it. That's the best part. So I'll show you the completion.
This is the final product. As you can see, it's pretty custom work. The sub kind of just closes off the whole trunk. We did some side pieces that ended up turning pretty well. I wrapped basically every single wood piece in carpet. This is where the sub is. I wrapped the sub box and then the side pieces, and then also the panel where the amps are. It turns out pretty well. Probably end up cleaning up the wires a bit more, but other than that, it was a pretty good install. A lot of work. Pretty impressive that me and UT were able to do it considering our age and experience, but I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. And it looks basically factory on the inside too.
I'm on set.